it, but hey, it happens that way sometimes. How are y'all? We were just really just tripping on some things we're going to show each other. So Trina, I'm going to do the modified tones through the even tonality. There we go. That was the word I was looking for. So welcome everybody. We just want to say thank you for joining us. You know, we know you got a lot of places you can be, and so it's an honor that to have such free thinkers such as you to join us in this collective. We invoke favor upon your life, nothing missing, nothing broken, and I hope you are going to listen to a story I have to tell you about favor. So, my co-host, the lovely Miss Trina. How are you, my dear?
I am great. Hi, everyone in chat.
Having your presence is like, how shall I say? It's like immersing yourself into a healing balm of oil. It just is far out. You know, that's all I can say.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, my dear. You're welcome. You know, we all bring something to the table. So she's got the looks, folks. So anyway, so how you doing?
The chimes.
Yes, I love it. Who from the bell?
Yeah, I'm like, sometimes it just hits you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So how are you?
Sometimes it just hits you. I am really good, working a lot, but really good. This energy that's coming in, it feels like it's definitely changing us from the inside out.
Yes, yes. As it has been foreseen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Feel it.
I know that yesterday that where the sensors are there, where we record the wind, the speed, wind coming off the sun, etc., the density, we had another intense cosmic ray hit. Boom! It's changing us.
I can feel it.
Yeah, I mean, everybody is. It's
Oh, yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it's intense. I wonder, like you had a profound experience. I wonder if this energy is a really good window for new thought.
I think it's opening portals. You know, the book I'm reading, entities can only, and this includes super intelligent beings. Um, you can come into a planet, but you're not going to be in the planet. For instance, the portal that has been open for approximately, they estimate 3,600 years, which has been over the Middle East. It has been the predominant portal to the Earth. And now there are new portals opening up. So, two things. Number one, the original builders of the original portal that has been over the Middle East is getting active again. It's been idle for nearly 2,000 years. And so I contend that these cosmic rays are doing far more than what man can perceive with his science.
I see, I see, I see man toying with that, but I also see that this is going to wake up the crystals in Earth. Like, yeah, I see nature coming into a kind of power I don't think that we've witnessed. Yeah.
You know, I was having a conversation. We have, I'm very pleased to say, we've got two physicists that are active in our community. They don't, they make comments occasionally. Hello, Robert. I'm going to say hello, number one, to all of the moderators. Much love. And thank all of you, Emperor Rex, Marguerite, Robert, Susie Q, Barry, Infinite Frequencies, Rodman, good to see you. Truth Seeker 1961, Autumn, good to see you, my dear. Stephen, and all the rest. That the colors we're getting in our atmosphere. For instance, that what was seen here in Denver, Friday evening is as one as one as it was exactly pinned. There's serious changes taking place in our atmosphere to have that kind of light bending to where you're getting purples. Yeah, that's yeah.
It's fascinating.
Yeah, it is fascinating.
It is. It's fascinating. Yeah, I'm seeing things in the skies we've never seen.
Yeah.
But we've only been alive for a short period of time, so this could be like nothing new, but we've just never seen anything like it.
Boy, and you bring up a great point is the fact that, and I'll have to give Lisa Barnett, credit. The epiphany hit me when her and I were on the show that we can't be human beings. I think we're more earthlings than we would be human beings, but even earthlings is finite.
Yeah.
Trina, I contend that all of us, and there may be an exception to that, and I'll give the exception at the end of this. I think we're from we're from different star systems.
Oh, I definitely think so.
Yeah.
I've always thought that.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't even know what that was. And when I was like 10 years old, someone was a palm reader and they grabbed my palm and they're like, "Oh, you're from the stars." I was like, "Oh," I didn't even know what it meant, but yeah, it's even in my hands.
So I have struggled in my life. I guess this event happened to me in Santa Clara, 1960, so about 5 years old. I was sick, but how I interpreted that there were beings outside my bedroom wall to the outside, and I could hear them talking. I even now, here I am at 64, very cognitive of that. I can see it happen. It's playing again.
Yep.
Now I'm beginning to see a potentially different take on that. That, as someone pointed out to me just recently, most likely an abduction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
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 I wonder that too, because
Yeah.
when I was little, that's when I saw my first ship, and it was close to my house. And it went down, and the light came out of it, but I didn't see nothing go up it or nothing. And my sister would always wake up with bloody noses, and I would wake up right when she would get the bloody nose, and I would run and go get the washcloth, and she would sit up, and her nose would start bleeding. It was just weird. There was just some weird stuff going on. So I haven't gone into those memories yet. I'm kind of not knowing if I really want to.
Well, it becomes ever more apparent
Mhm,
that there's really, Lynn and I were talking about this last night. There's really only two buckets to choose from here.
mhm,
Either you're in the bucket A, which says, I believe that I am immortal,
mhm.
that I don't know my age. It is probably beyond my
Yeah,
comprehension. Yeah.
yeah.
Or bucket B is that you believe that you are a new creation when you came into this incarnation, and you only have whatever the luck of the draw is going to give you. Maybe you may get 20 years, you may get 80 years, but you better figure it all out, because at the end of that, then you're going to either face this judgment, and that's the way most people think. It's either A or
Yeah.
B.
I think some of that, this book I've been reading talks about the soul's evolution,
Mhm.
and how depending on how old your soul is kind of how you think.
Yeah.
So that would make sense in a lot of levels, depending on where your evolution is, because you're supposed to be doing your track. So whatever your track is, that's what you're supposed to be on. And like I said, a lot of us in this community, we must be very old.
I also think, and you evolve. I like how you said the soul
Yeah.
is always evolving.
Yeah.
Um, I
Yes.
had, I was doing some channeling this morning, and it's interesting because I just don't have one spirit guide. There's a lot that want to talk.
Yes.
And it's like, okay. But when you think about it, um,
Mhm.
I think some of us have been placed here strategically for this period of time.
I was told that.
Interesting. What were you
Wayne,
told?
I didn't want to come. And he was like, you said you would come.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I know I did. You know what I mean? But I was like,
Yeah.
but I know I don't have to. And he just looked at me like he knew I didn't have to. It was some weird dynamic with this contract thing. But yeah, I ended up coming in at the last moment. But that's what they told me. They said,
We're
you're here
glad
to
you did
graduate.
too.
Yeah, they're like, you're here to graduate. You're here to activate many others because he said
Yeah.
you're supposed to be like Jesus. And what it
Yep.
meant was be able to do miracles, be able to heal,
Mm-hmm.
be able to do these things that are natural to what we as humans are, and to activate others so where they could start to use their connections and their abilities and their gifts. And showed me it would be like millions of people would adopt these new behaviors.
Mm-hmm.
And it was an activation. Yeah.
I'm getting more and more that the original Earth man, the original,
Mm-hmm.
um, they were magnificent creatures.
They're
They
gods, they're light
they
beings,
were
they're
gods.
gods.
They
Yes, they're
were. They
absolute
were.
gods. Yeah,
And so I've
yeah,
been the one that's been talking says that when you look at the holy books that have been written, they're all metaphorical, taken to teach a lesson or
yeah,
to give example of.
yes.
And, it would fit the narrative of the fall of Earthman when he was conquered.
Hmm.
And I believe that's in fact what happened. I believe he
Yeah,
was in fact conquered.
yeah,
And that's where we get the story of the fall of man.
yeah, and then genetically modified.
Oh, no doubt about that.
Yep,
Absolutely. In
yep,
fact,
somehow conquered. And Wayne, I think it was due to our own free will because I truly, from the deepest part of my being, I believe that we were very naive because we were so trusting and so loving and so wise that we couldn't fathom such
are
a
you
thing.
ready for this?
What?
I think, and this is just my theory, but I've done a complete video on this, that the two creations, two worlds. It finally came to me, and now I see what happened. I believe they were captured. There are no Earthmen here. And my evidence of that is how they constructed the story. If you look at Genesis 1 and Genesis 2, the 6 day people, and it
Yeah.
says, were without fault, and
Yes.
then they were no more.
Yes.
Then you get the genetically modified version, the GMO Adam.
Yes.
Yeah,
The second Adam. Yeah.
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 They're no longer here.
I'm
Now,
telling you, they put the original Adam to sleep.
well, Lilith says that
Got rid of it.
they sealed him in the highest heaven.
I think so.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that, that which we came from. In fact, as I understand it, they've used that species. We're just a subspecies of that species,
Yes.
but they have taken that genetic um, semen,
Yes.
and they have absolutely populated the heavens with it.
Yes.
Other star systems, other
That's what I
planets,
saw. That they
they've
took
modified.
Adam.
Yeah,
Yeah, they took the sleeping Adam and they took his genetics and they're making all
yeah,
kinds of new
yeah,
things with Adam.
yeah.
Hmm.
Whether it's the reptilians,
Yeah,
insectoids, draconians,
all of them.
whoever. Yeah,
Yes, all of them,
yeah,
because he has everything in him.
yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of bears out the whole mythos that, the genetic rarity. And I
Yeah.
believe that. I,
Yes.
you know,
Yep.
There has to have been a what they would say the original, what everything was built from.
Yeah. Man. They say man, and man is the divine feminine. It's the image.
Oh, I think it's beyond our comprehension.
It
It's like
is.
this. How do
It
you
is.
know what you don't know?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
yeah, but
Like,
yeah, I completely agree with that. It's so beyond our comprehension. It's huge.
it's
Oh, yeah.
yeah. I sit here
Yeah.
and I marvel.
I do too, because and the more we look at it, this truly is mental.
Mhm.
Everything here is based upon belief and thought.
I have something I want to show people. I know I showed you earlier, and I'm going to get it pulled up because we're talking about going beyond our limits of imagination. And I want to share with you something that's been I have been transforming. I have to say that this is just becoming very weird for me. Folks, and my wife will tell you, for me to say weird,
Right, takes a lot.
you got to
Yeah,
be
and when you
weird.
start awakening and you start growing, it's so powerful, and it changes everything.
So, Trina, do you see that?
Yes, I do.
That is the known universe.
Isn't it beautiful?
The story broke yesterday that they're now having to deal with the fact that it looks like our universe, which is beyond my comprehension, that it's more ecliptical in shape.
Yeah.
Um, I was meditating on this. I turned all the lights down and I have a bigger monitor and just began to open my mind, and my mind shut down. You can't comprehend this, Trina.
No, it's so huge. It's so huge. Yeah, you can't.
What's
I
your
tried
psychic
to.
impression when you see this? What do you get?
It's like when I tried to ask the creator to show me creation, and then he did. So I went off Earth, right? And then I
Yeah.
started going through the planets, and then out of the solar system, and then into the galaxy, and then to the cosmos. And right, I couldn't even get out of the universe.
Yeah.
And I completely was like, just stop. I'm gonna over short circuit. I couldn't, it was huge. And to get those glimpses, you get so much information.
You do,
It
don't you?
yeah, it's like you just can't process it all. It's so big. So this universe that we're in, the information that is within it is so mind-blowing.
It's
And
beyond
this is just
comprehension.
yeah, and this is one galaxy in millions of them.
Yes, this is, by the way, the Perseus supercluster. And ladies and gentlemen, all those little blue dots you see, and I think I can probably even expand out for you so you can see, folks, those are what we call superclusters. Those are galaxies. They're Trina, there
All those
has to
blue
be
dots, right?
something
All those
out
blue
there.
dots.
Yeah. All those little blue dots, you know.
Yes. Oh, that's what it is too. It's all those little blue thoughts.
Oh, that's very, very, very well said.
Yeah.
I love that.
Galaxy.
Um,
Yeah.
Here is I forget which galaxy. I think this is about, I think 15 million light years away from us. This is the collision that has already taken place of two galaxies bigger than the Milky Way, by the way.
That's
And you can see the force, the energy that they have already sent out, and they're about to make another pass at each other.
wow.
I mean,
It looks like a face.
yeah, it does, doesn't it?
It does totally. The eyes of the yeah are the galaxy. Yeah, it looks like a face. Hmm.
I started I meditate on these, and now I'm opening myself up because I understand there's a lot of voices. There's intelligence out there.
Oh, yes. I
It's,
think, as I'm telling you, I think this is all thought. It's all based on thought and being able to perceive and have awareness of thought. And that bypasses
yeah,
language. True
yeah.
thought is symbols and images and consciousness. It bypasses even language.
And these are galaxies out here, folks. All of these are galaxies. I I wonder, Trina, is there life in here? I mean,
Oh God, I would, yes, absolutely. How could there not be?
and you know, let's take that further because I believe, like you, that there is. But here's the thing: somebody's dying in here because these are planets now coming in to establish solar systems that had probably were, who long knows how long they existed. And you can begin to see the spin-offs already of interactions from the first pass. I wonder what is going on with, let's just say hypothetically, Earth 2, let's just say.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it could be utter destruction.
And here's my thought. In a group channel perspective, I wonder if they've sent out messages of hope or help, maybe not, but something that maybe they are hoping that there would be other evolved species that would be able to hear their thoughts, as by no doubt this is destruction of planets. I mean, yeah,
That's the funny thing though, when we look at matter, this is matter we're looking at.
yes,
Matter dies and it re-expresses itself over and over and over again. But the memories, the consciousness, the Akashic records, those never go away.
they never do.
Nope.
They don't. And I keep on thinking to myself, can we potentially ever grasp what's going on here? I have to stop share for a
It
second
seems
here.
to me like it's going to create a bigger universe, like a bigger galaxy, a bigger one. Like those two are going to eventually kind of come together.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm thinking of the Moody Blues, Knights of White Mountain, from
Mhm.
death, new life, is brought forth.
That's
And
what I see.
yeah,
And I
yeah,
remember I told you when they always showed me when 2 points of light come together, it brings forth new consciousness, new life, new intelligence, because it has the codes of both of those interactions. So it's a new creation because it's coded with information of both beings being blended into one being. It's yeah,
yeah.
kind of like the
This,
genetics of the mom and the dad when you make a baby.
yeah.
Yeah,
This is the Milky Way, galactic core. This is in X-rays. Mine is in I think it's in the redshift that I have behind me. This is what it would look like if we could see in the X-ray.
that
Wouldn't
is
that,
so amazing.
wouldn't that just freaking blow your mind? It's like,
It's so amazing to me that we can't perceive like 90% of what's real.
yeah, we can't.
We don't have the eyes to see it.
And all the while, I'm asking myself, is there life? There
Hmm.
has to be. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, the frightening thought is, and by the way, just to let everyone know, today it was announced, it's official. We now have two man-made um, spacecraft that have now just last year, they actually hit it, what we call the terminal shock zone wave. Uh, they're no longer under the influence of our star. They are now, Trina, in deep interstellar space. So, Voyager,
Profound.
go forth, prosper.
Yeah, that's
So,
profound.
yeah, it
That
is.
means we broke through the barrier
We
of
did.
our cell.
Yeah, we did. This is profound.
Big. This is big.
Um, I think that may have been observed by others.
I think this might be maybe why portals are opening. It's just like kind of when they did the first nuclear bomb, we started having sightings, UFO sightings,
Mm-hmm.
because like it sent off a beacon, like they're
I
here.
think it tore a opening in
Yeah,
the space-time continuum.
I think so too. And it was like a big warning thing, like they're here, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that put us kind of on the radar because I think we were kind of um, being left alone by the other ones for a long time. But yeah, something's going on with that. And then by going outside of our barrier, that might be a kind of an alarm system that's going to go on to a whole new layer of stuff.
You think about this. So 1945,
Mhm.
we crossed the barrier of the atom.
Yep.
Now this gets really weird. So let's go in the future. So we would go approximately 25 years into the future. And actually it'd be 29 years to be exact. We send off a spacecraft out there, which we have, in fact, our science back then was very limited, but we did it.
Hmm.
We sent a
Yeah.
25 years,
Yeah.
and now that craft has gone where no man has ever gone that we know of.
No man could. They'd lose their brain.
Interesting you say that, because they're saying that the astronauts on the ISS, they're having health effects because of the cosmic rays.
Yep.
Wacko.
Yep. Brain
Apparently,
scramble. Hmm.
apparently they got one cosmonaut that's drilling holes in the freaking paneling. It's like, hey, bud, you can't do that.
No. Yeah,
No,
like I said, yeah, brain can go cuckoo. It's the lack of gravity because we truly operate with the magnetic field of this planet.
I think we do. And I think
Yes,
that's,
we do.
we're in the midst of a magnetic pole shift right now.
Yeah.
And I think it's what's driving a lot of people back crap crazy.
Oh, absolutely. It will definitely throw you off balance. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, our brain is directly, it's magnetic. Our hearts are magnetic. That's why you see so many people having heart problems.
Well, there's yeah, and it's going to get worse, as I said yesterday. I fully anticipate seeing in 2020, even when our star gets back into its active cycle, but it's going to be a weak one. I think
Right.
these cosmic rays are going to play havoc with us.
I think it's the potential for that activation that I was always shown my whole life.
I think it's happening.
Yeah. I think this
Yeah.
might be the activation. It's like you can reawaken sleeping genetics, start to reconnect with the ancient Adamic codes.
Exactly. I was just saying,
Yeah.
people are just, hello, Cheryl. Thank you for that kind comment. She thinks you're wonderful. We do
Oh,
too. um, so I'm teaching people to begin to embrace the natural ability to channel.
yes.
Um, is as I continue to, it's like you're on an expedition, a
Yeah.
quest, and folks, the discoveries are wondrous.
Yeah. It's
Trina,
so funny. It's remembering what you already knew.
isn't that odd that you say that? Because you took the words almost out. Because I have told my spirit guide, and by the way, I thought the name was Jonathan. It is not. Um, as I began to give voice to uh, the other side of the connection, it was a very interesting. Now I had to write it down. I'm going to look it up even more today. But um, we keep saying that there's spirits all around us. We
Yes.
keep saying that there are lower intelligences, there's higher intelligences, that people have a way that they can astral project, they can do lucid dreaming. All of that is saying that there are intelligent, active souls, spirits, energies, right? My question has been since a child, and I remember asking a particular preacher on this, is that why can't we hear them?
Mhm.
Well,
But they
channeling
can.
does that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's me. You know, remember I told you the Lord told me when I went to
yeah.
church, he's like, don't go back. And I was like, yeah, because that's what he
Yeah.
told me. He's like, they'll take your ability to hear me and see me away from you. He
Yes.
literally told me that. He said, you will not be able to hear my voice and you will not be able to see my face because they will convince you that you cannot.
Mm.
Yeah, they take it from you. They take it from you when you're little.
So I bet you could relate to this because it was a little difficult for me. But the thought came to me right before we went on live. I know because I was listening to Janice Ian, a great song, by the way, that when, let's just say your first puppy love,
Mm-hmm.
right? You got your heart broke.
Mm-hmm.
And most young girls will literally create what their husband is going to look like, their Prince Charming, out of these events.
Yeah.
And it was said to me that that was the last vestige that many of would have of creating thought. Did you ever have your heart broken?
Yeah. And you know, it's so crazy, Wayne. The more I've studied like deep-seated stuff, most of it, I mean, some of it can happen when you're older, but most of these programs that we literally put ourselves on our track for our lifetimes are installed before age 7.
It's very interesting. I was talking, my wife and I were talking, and I was telling her that, I was always flirtatious,
Mhm.
loved the opposite sex. In fact, it was very well coming out of my personality in kindergarten, you
Yeah.
know. Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's so true. And you look back on that and it's so true how you begin to fashion our
Who
like,
you are.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Too. You see the things you think that work and you implement them.
yeah.
Yeah.
So someone actually broke your heart way back
Oh,
when,
oh
huh?
God, yeah. In the 3rd grade, because I beat him in the tetherball championship.
Wow, that's a thin-skinned fella.
I'm telling you, yeah, it started happening from the time you're younger, and then I just had a few more experiences up the ladder I went. Yeah.
So
Yep.
just wow. Wow.
Yeah. It
Do you
starts from
remember
the
his
time
name?
you're little. From the time you're little, you get these
Hmm.
programs, so then I was always battling, don't ever overachieve your partner,
Ooh,
Yeah, that put that into me.
wow.
Yeah, they'll freak out and they'll run away. Yeah.
So third grade, what, about 8 years old?
Yeah, 7 or
Yeah,
8.
yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Wow, that's some pretty deep lessons in life to
That's
be,
what I mean. When you
yeah,
start to realize what these little incidences in your life, how they actually programmed you, it is mind blowing because when you see it, then you're like, whoa, and you can change it and you can see how it brought all these different things into your life. It's
interesting.
an amazing chain of neural pathway.
So
And
do you
when you,
remember his name?
yeah, art. Yep.
So I had really hard crush on the first girl that I knew, fifth grade,
Mhm.
Mabel Wells. In ninth grade, it was Margie Hall.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
young love.
Absolutely.
What's that
Those
song?
those those
Young love.
hormones and those emotions are so powerful
They
and
are. They
ah,
truly are. It's,
yeah.
you look back on it and the struggle that you have as a child who, as they say, puberty they're not even human.
Yeah.
I mean, adolescence and puberty, genetically, they'll tell you that they're not children anymore. They're
You know
not.
what's really strange correlation that I've seen throughout my lifetime is poltergeist activity and teenage children. And it's because of that not human, that
Mm,
chemical
mm.
transition that's happening, whatever that is powerful.
Oh, you bring up
Powerful.
some really good points. And, if it was present back when we were growing up, imagine how much more intense it must be today.
Oh yeah, and I witnessed it when I was a young kid growing up.
Mm,
Yeah,
mm,
I
mm.
witnessed poltergeist activity for sure. Hmm.
Interesting.
Hmm.
That the time that I'm telling you that I'm now realizing was probably an abduction. It was at that same period that, my aunt had tragically been killed in a car accident on Christmas Eve thereabout, and
Oh,
appearing to me in that same bedroom.
wow.
So,
Wow.
hmm,
I hear about that a lot.
really.
Yeah, like the moment people pass away or they transfer, a lot of
Mhm.
people see them standing at the end of their beds, especially if it's at night.
Oh, my aunt did more than that. She came up and kissed my head and told
Oh,
me,
that's so awesome.
she said, "I will always watch over you, dear one." I still
That
remember
is
it,
amazing.
you know?
What
Yeah,
a beautiful gift.
yeah.
Wow.
My grandfather came into the room because he had heard something.
Hmm.
And that's when I told him, and about when I told him, that's when the phone call came in the hallway that we found out.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like I
Those,
said, when you see these things, nobody can ever tell you that when people die, they die. Because
yeah.
when you see them after they're dead, you know that they weren't dead.
Someone had left a comment on, I think, yesterday's show that said, well, there's no scientific proof that the spirit or soul exists. And
Wait till you see one. That's
well, and that's really what it comes down to. In fact,
totally.
there have been medical science done. We know that at death, there is approximately 23 grams that is lessened in all bodies.
And I'm telling you, it's water, Wayne. It's all about
Yeah.
water.
And, I think that we have a substance that man has yet to discover that is that cohesive. I want to say it's like a gel. I keep seeing it, but
Yeah.
it's an essence.
Yeah.
In my channeling session this morning, I was told that this essence, because I wanted to know, well, why is it that you spirits have such a difficult time communicating to us here? And he said, well, this is what I heard. He said, you asked a question before. He said, why is it that the physical cannot impact the spirit? He said, quite the opposite. He said, when there is a collective tragedy
Yeah.
or a collective hate,
Yeah. They feel it.
that's exactly.
Yeah.
He
They
says
feel
it
it
makes them sick.
big time. Yep. Big time.
Yes.
They feel so much more than we do. Like I said, we are numbed down, dumbed down, amnesia in physical flesh, which is a barrier which cuts you off from source. It's intended. You can't, you come here to be separate for the first time ever. And it's probably one of the only ways you can truly get
Mm.
separated from that which you are, is to do stuff like this.
Wow. Man, I am sitting here and the thoughts are coming in hard and heavy because this is interesting.
Yeah,
If it makes this is interesting breakthrough for myself because it does show that the physical does in fact have a direct impact on the spirit realm or
absolutely.
realms.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. I
Hmm.
know that to the deepest part. That's how they know. They know to bring the angels. They know they're standing, waiting and watching, but we have to summon, we have to call them forth, invite them. They cannot interfere. The only ones that break the rules will interfere, and those are dark ones. So you need to call upon the ones who do follow the will and the laws of how things work. We
You know,
literally have to.
I've
Mhm.
I interpret darkness now in a new definition. Darkness is the lack of information.
Yeah, it's just spirits just like us, and they've chosen to be running just a different program of darkness.
All
Yeah.
right, so here's a conspiracy theory. Wow. I mean, this is hitting me. So mankind we're tipping towards the 8 billion mark.
Mhm.
Um, Imagine that if you were a demigod, a higher entity that fed off of the negative, the fear, and that began to wane, right, in intensity.
Mhm.
Imagine if you set up an event that, let's say, would bring 1 billion people into misery.
Mhm.
Trina, that's powerful.
Oh yeah, that's feeding time.
Yes. The way you just said that,
Yeah.
that is feeding time. Is that what? All right. So hear me out.
Feeding
Is
time.
that what we're sensing? I mean, everybody
Yes.
senses it. Something
Yes.
freaking ain't right. You know it. Now,
Yes.
if you're in that right inner place,
Mhm.
we're sour milk to them.
Oh yeah. Uh, the vibration doesn't match. If they tried to ingest it, it would like make them explode. It's just not a match of vibration. Yeah.
What if the dinner bell is being rang?
Oh, it is.
I mean, I'm talking on the chuck wagon. You know what I'm saying? The triangle thing. Wow, that's very interesting. And that, you have the triangle that would send out 3 different frequencies. Da, 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 da. I wonder if that's what's being set up. I mean, listen, I'm a cook.
I literally see this light coming in as triangles. I'm seeing little pyramids of light,
Oh, kind of. I could see that.
like little diamond sparkles, but pyramids of light. Yeah.
This is why I think the time is now. We've got to begin to understand. Um, it's like Lynn says. She says, my skepticism, she says, is peaking off the meter. But the point is that
Yeah.
if there is an afterlife, and if there are other species, and when we look out into the heavens, the universe,
Yeah.
I just, I laugh at myself and I think, man thinks that he's the crowning achievement out there.
That's the greatest trap.
Isn't it though?
That's the ultimate trap, is to get you into that consciousness, because then you are trapped in man. You are trapped in the earth realm. It's not even close to what you are as man. So yeah, you'll be stuck in this human form, like becoming, reincarnating over and over until you realize that you're more than that, because that is the ultimate why you get fully cut off, is to see if you can remember.
It's just me. But I think, like our good friends Jerry, and there are some others that have recently passed over, they're going over with a knowledge
Yeah.
that many, many don't have.
Oh, 90%.
I'd agree with that. I think you're
Yeah.
being very liberal on that. I think it may be higher, but um, that's why yesterday when I was, and a lot of times when I'm doing the show, these thoughts come in. I was told as I was putting together the program was that there's many more who are not coming back.
Oh, yeah.
They won't
One
be
or
back.
two.
Yeah, it's like, all I got to say is
Been
when I
there,
get
done
over
that.
there,
Yeah.
you
And
know,
I have a feeling, um, many of us have been here a lot of times. So,
oh yeah,
and,
you're
and,
finally,
you know, and I think that's why many of us were called now, because we mastered it before on any, realm of wow, good job being, blind and completely can't remember nothing. So I think if you, stayed as a good person, didn't create bucket loads of karma, and you've come back a few times. Every time I think you get to a different level, I think it kind of sticks with you. So I
I
think
think
many
so.
who graduated are brought into these really hard transitional times, because our nature now is coded with that.
So I heard this morning. I was doing some exercises and I heard this very distinctly. There are crowds that are cheering us on. And I heard specifically that what I heard that they're just blown away to see how we are progressing. To think
Yeah.
about it, you said something that was so true, that we come into this thing knowing no memory,
Yeah.
no ability to recall,
Yeah.
blind. We really do come in blind initially, and then you begin to see,
Yeah.
and then you awake. And I'm
Yeah.
talking where we are now later in life. Would have been
Yeah.
nice if I'd done it at 5 years old, but I didn't. Anyway.
I don't think it matters. I think all the processes of awakening are all so different, and they all happen at different times in
Yeah.
different ways. And that's the beautiful thing, because all those differences help us to connect with each other's differences,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's a resonance and frequency.
Yep.
So
Yep.
yeah, all
And
these
it is.
different all these different ways are so important, because it matches with another person who has a resonance of that kind of similar way,
Yep.
but all of us are expressing different ways, but there is a resonance with, similar people who do things a lot of the same way with the same paths.
Kind of like, as I was reading, was that it's like light filaments. We
Yeah.
all have them there. That's what makes up our DNA.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that there's a frequency. That's why the frequencies modulate.
Yes.
And
Mhm.
when it hits that frequency within you, with that
Mhm.
crystalline structure,
Yep.
things start to happen, girl.
I'm telling you, that's why I've always said, man, truth rings inside you like a bell.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Like
Yeah.
it's like vroom, it's like a bell. It's a vibration.
It is a vibration.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, you can change. Hey, Brian, how you doing, my friend? I think he's going to have his 222 show on Friday, by the way.
Yeah.
So I'll be on the week after that.
Yes.
But this is what I am picking up, is that as you begin to develop innerly, by your inner understanding of yourself,
Hmm. Hmm.
wow, the frequency changes.
Yes.
I was telling Lynn last night, I was an avid race car fan. I worked in that industry for a while, and I no longer have any passion for it at all. I don't even watch it.
I
I,
used to too, and I don't either. I get
yeah.
it. Totally
You
understand
get
that.
where I'm coming from?
Oh,
Yeah.
totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, the
And it
things
was
that I
one of the
used,
only sports I actually liked. And then now that's even gone. I'm like,
it's gone.
yeah.
I mean, and I'm like you. That's probably why we have that thing going. It's like, well, we both liked race cars, but no more.
Nope.
And this morning I woke up, Trina, at 3:33 a.m.
Yep.
I was I and this is what happened. As consciousness was coming to my mind of awakeness, I was speaking favor to the spirits.
Yeah.
And as the consciousness kind of started flooding in, then you're kind of like in that lucid state. Here I am invoking favor upon the infinite being, my guides. And this went on for 10 minutes with the spirit realm. And this is what I'm trying to say. When I finally got fully conscious, I woke up my wife, and which wasn't pleasant. But I said, there's been a profound shift.
Hmm.
There's been a change.
Yep.
She was not too happy to hear that, but
Right.
yeah. But nevertheless,
Yep.
and then I guess I got 2 emails today, people expressing the same thing in their lives. They have said something profoundly has changed, and it's to the positive.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been feeling this too. I'm feeling that this is a breakthrough window. I really
Talk
do
to
feel that
talk to
way.
us about that.
It just feels like this energy is bringing in new information, and you can choose to see things in a different way. You can choose to dream a different dream. You can choose to change your course right now and create something new. And I just keep hearing, imagine big. Imagine
Yes.
you uh, start to see in your life what would work for you. Instead of looking at what we see, look at what we would want to see. Really start to take control over your thought. Pay attention to the mind and the mind chatter, because this to me is the ultimate battle right now, rather of manifesting well or manifesting from fear, because all of these energies are going to trigger hidden fears. They're going to bring in information. The most easiest information you will always absorb is information that you already have a reference base for. So with that, try to focus on bringing in stuff that is new,
Mm,
new. And to
mm.
be in to see something new requires creativity, imagination. So get into those frequencies so you can activate those frequencies within you, because you do have a remembrance of those as well. You just haven't connected the two, the matter with the consciousness of the spirit. So bring in the imagination, potentials, possibilities. Focus on the things you would like to see. Most of the time, we're talking about the things we don't like or remembering things in our past that have harmed us, upset us. These programs are necessary so you don't fall into the same traps. You know not to touch the hot stove. You know how to walk. You know how to use language. You know how to do these things. But we need to control our mental processes. I keep hearing it's the biggest thing you can do right now is control the mental processes, because it will affect the body.
This affirms, I'll share an experience. I mean, this is exactly what I'm doing.
Mhm.
Um, when I have thoughts, for instance, when you get the
Yeah.
thoughts come in through about the political situation, and what I have doing now is that, and I'm involved in something where it could become a very potentially negative, but it's amazing how it's transmuted to something very positive. So my point is, every time I have a negative thought, I immediately say, nope, I just invoke favor on that.
Hmm.
And that for Wayne Steiger, that is my key. It is the key that is unlocking fabulous, fabulous new places. I saw in
Yeah.
meditation last night, Trina, I was deeply, purposely just putting my thoughts in there.
Mhm.
And sure enough, I was at a place, at a plateau, where there were hallways that stretched in front of me.
Yep. New doors.
Yes, ma'am.
New doors. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
That's awesome.
I think they are. I don't think that, you know,
Yeah,
you
you
or
know
I are.
what I've been seeing lately, for me, my spirit has been because I've been asking, okay, how could I serve at the highest level for me in my being? And I keep hearing be in alignment with the will of creation. Just let
Mm,
the will of creation flow through your heart. So instead of my wants, my needs, my life, focus more on giving forth my energy to express the will of creation and to kind of step aside and let creation flow through my heart. And that's what's been put on my heart lately for the past few days. It's like, be the will of creation itself.
mm, 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 mm. That's like sweet cherry wine. That is beautiful. It's, I mean, that
Yeah,
is savory. I love it.
it feels like this energy needs to have a house.
Yes.
So bring it into the body and then
Yes.
release it. Let it go. And then the more you can let it go, the more they'll process through you. And they're like, be the will of creation. Help us deliver the light.
Mm.
I'm like, okay, I'll work on that.
This is just the synchronicities, and this is the other sign, folks. If you're seeing off the chart synchronicities, then you know you're in this in what's happening here. Um, because Lynn and I again were talking last night, and I said, you know, hon, my whole concept of what the creator was has changed. I mean, it never stops creating
Yes.
it, and we can be part of that.
Yeah, it's so big. We just
Yes.
can't. And I know that there's a part of us that's much bigger than this. So we always need to remember, we're all connected to, they say, this silver cord, this cord. If we're connected to a cord, that means every other part of us is connected to a cord either. So I'd start traveling through all those cords and remembering and getting back to all of you.
Well, I'll just add to that. That's exactly the thing too, as well, is that we need to focus on getting our memories back.
Yeah, and we can do that in
Yeah.
meditation and doing guided trance work. It's super easy. Like I said, you can do that when you're driving down the road, doing the dishes.
By the way, the
We
dishes,
channel all the time. All the time we're channeling,
yep.
just on different layers and levels. Hmm.
Dishwashing can be so therapeutic, number one, but
Yeah.
it does offer an opportunity of immense opportunity for work
When
in channeling.
when you have a fast brain and a brain that likes to ask why a lot, I think for those kinds of brains to put a task to keep their monkey mind busy,
Yeah.
it actually gives you a clearer, a more open line to channel.
I'll say this, and I am not embarrassed about it. Vacuuming
Yeah, me too.
is,
Me too.
I mean, I get into a trance and I'm
Yeah,
channeling. I mean, I'm
yeah,
having conversations,
absolutely.
verbalizing.
Absolutely, because the body's busy, so it
Oh,
can't get in the way. The ego is occupied with safety and focus because ego
yeah,
loves a job, loves a task. That's what it's meant to do.
it's like
Yeah.
that.
So yeah, I find that that's when I get some of my most profound things. It's like when I'm doing an activity, cleaning, fixing something. Yeah, working, being moving,
Yeah.
being mobile. For me, being still is more difficult than to be in motion. And I've always channeled in motion since I was a child.
That's why I like vacuuming, is that
Mhm.
because the hum
Yeah.
completely cuts out the white noise.
Yes.
I mean, it does. I mean,
Yes.
you can't hear anything.
Nope. Nope. Yeah. So
Oh,
you start to go in. Yeah.
yes. Yes,
Yeah.
you do. Yeah. Someone's cracking up. They love the monkey mind.
It's just true. Yeah. It's like I got to keep mine busy or it just distracts me sometimes. I'm like, okay, I got to give you some focus because my body has its own consciousness
Ah,
and it
this is
likes to
crazy.
move. Yeah. And it likes to move. It always has and it probably always will. But yeah, it likes to move. So make my body happy, then my mind can go where I want my mind to go, which is to the higher dimensions.
And it will,
Yeah.
I mean, ah, all right. Well, the freaking hour is gone, baby.
Oh my good. It goes so fast.
It's time travel. It's just
It is.
freaking so everyone else. But people are really getting into it. Like, apparently we are definitely in sync.
That's good.
Yeah. You
Yeah,
know,
I've been trying to figure out because I keep feeling this new energy and this solar
yeah.
energy that's coming in it feels heavy initially. It feels heavy. Um, I feel it's affecting magnetics. So I was just like, what can I do to help myself and the whole? What do we do with this? And that's literally, they're like they showed me, like, you guys are antennas.
Oh,
Bring in this information and express it through your heart and let the will of creation kind of guide that process, and you being an active participant cooperating with that, you'll receive some of the best, most beautiful light available on this planet right now.
I think some people's equipment is getting dusted off, and it's like, oh
Yeah.
wow, it actually works.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is
Remembering.
cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There is a group called Nectar, and they have an album called "Remember the Future." Any of you check this out, go on YouTube and listen to it. It's very profound what we're dealing with. All right, well, Miss Trina, it's been far out hour.
Much love.
Yeah, you want to say goodbye to everybody as we head
Yes,
out?
I love you guys.
Y'all are a far out group. We appreciate it. Y'all are
So
just
far out.
groovy people, and
Yeah.
we hang very loose here, and it's a fun
Yeah.
way to be. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah,
So,
just exploring the realms of what do we need to remember.
yeah, yeah. It's all about remembering.
It is because this is all mental construct, mental universe, and we have access to the entire universe in our mental construct, as above, so below.
So, folks, we will bid you an adieu. Just remember the future. Trina, stay with me, and then, folks, we will see you tomorrow. Much love, everyone. Thank you, moderators, and all the rest of you.
Mhm.